What's up? It's Yo Yo the House Lady. Thank you for stopping by my channel where I talk about all things real estate, all things real estate investing. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important aspects of real estate investing, and that's where do you get the money to get it done? Now, I already filmed this video, but this is me refilming it because when I shoot from the hip, which is what I did on the first video, I realized that I left a lot of very important things out. So what I decided to do in refilming it was to pull out my good old trusty whiteboard, and I wrote an outline, and hopefully even on that outline I've covered everything. So I'm going to be glancing over at my outline ever so often just to make sure I'm hitting all the points that I want to cover. Now, these are my experiences, so I have to make this disclaimer mostly because, or primarily because, when I start talking about real estate investing, I'm going to be talking about money, I'm going to be talking about borrowing, I'm going to be talking about contracts, and it's very important for you to know I am not a tax professional. So if you have any questions about how your loan would work out, how that affects you tax-wise, you got to seek a professional for that. And also, I'm going to be talking about entering into contracts, the contracts that I've entered into. And so if you have any questions about contracts, my suggestion is to go to a real estate attorney or a tax attorney. So these are my personal experiences, and you can glean from it whatever you will, but just know that you have to do your own research, you have to do your own homework, and I know that it gets repetitive, but it bears repeating. Do your own research. It's so important because my experiences are not necessarily going to be what you experience when you go out there, but if it just so happens that you run into areas where you can remember something that I said that might hit home for you, well, then it helps, right? So let's get started. So one of the main things that you need to know if you're a new investor, and seasoned investors will agree, I know they're probably shaking their heads already, seasoned investors will agree, you need money to buy real estate. Now, there are many creative ways to buy real estate, and I'll touch on them because I've done them before here and there. Seller financing, lease options, etc. I've done it before. However, if you're a new investor, you want to go out, you see a property, you want to buy that property, you need money. Because I hear so many people saying you don't need money. You need money. And let me tell you why. Now, today I'm talking about hard money investors. When you hear people talking about investing, a lot of times you may hear them say, hey, go to get your credit in order, go to the bank, and the bank will give you a loan, or more than likely they'll give you a loan. And they look at your credit history and they look at your overall picture, and whether you're credit worthy, then they'll extend credit to you so you can go ahead and purchase this property. I have never, and I repeat, never, I have never used traditional financing in any of my purchases as an investor. Never once. I always, but always use hard money. Now, you may hear a lot of investors say, oh, I never use hard money, because the first gripe they have is hard money charges very high interest rates. I get it. But let me tell you why I love hard money. I avoid banks. Now, I'm actually in the process of trying to build a relationship with the bank. So I'm not saying that I avoid them altogether. I'm just saying, in my experience over the past 20 years as a real estate investor, I've never used traditional financing from a bank. So I would like to open it up and let that be one of my options. But until I do that, hard money is good with me. So first off, what are we talking about when we talk about hard money? Because one of the things I want to try to steer clear of on my channel is to speak in the lingo and use all of the verbiage and not explain it to you, because a lot of times I would watch something and someone will be talking about a subject matter, but they're using all of the acronyms and the lingo for the particular profession or subject matter, and I don't know what those acronyms mean. But they're doing it because they're so familiar with the field that they can use those acronyms and throw them around here and there. So let's start out with, what is hard money? A hard money lender is a lender that lends on the asset. The asset. When you hear the asset, that means the property. So you go out, this is a scenario, you go out, you find a property. And you say to yourself, you know what, this would be an excellent investment property based on everything you've learned about investing in a property. And I'll also, at some point in my channel, go over the things that you need to know when going out to find a property, make a decision about putting a contract, or should I say making an offer on a property. I'll talk about those things in other videos. But for this video's purpose, hard money, you go out, you find a house, then a hard money, you call your hard money lender, and what you're going to tell them is, hey, I found this property. I know I can get it at a great price. And not only that, I know it's going to appraise significantly higher than where I'm buying. Now, what a hard money lender does, for the most part, or should I say in all of my experiences, what a hard money lender does is lend on the asset, meaning I'm talking about we lend on the property. And the reason why I make that a point is because we're not going by your credit. We're not going by your income. And when I say we, I actually mean the hard money lender. They are not basing it on whether they're going to lend to you on your credit. They are not going to base it on your income. What a hard money lender does is base it on, is that property worth it? Can that property yield the return that you say it can yield once you do the renovations and put it back on the market? That's the extent, for the most part, of what a hard money lender is going to make inquiry about. Now, that doesn't mean that a hard money lender won't ask you about your credit. It doesn't mean that a hard money lender won't ask you about your income. And it doesn't mean that a hard money lender won't ask you about your experience. However, they're asking you that because a lot of times that informs their decision on how much they're going to charge you in interest, not whether or not they're going to lend you the money. Because remember, it's about the property, and it's all about the property. It's not about you. What your hard money lender really wants to know is, first, do you have any experience renovating a house? And if you don't have the experience, do you have the crew that has enough experience to know what to do to come in and renovate this property? That's a whole other video, believe me. But that's what a hard money lender wants to know. So I hear a lot of people saying they're hard money lenders, but then when the question is posed to them, well, what do you look at when a borrower comes to you? They'll say, oh, well, we look at the credit and we look at the income, but we don't focus too much on it. It's not that much of a big deal, but we do want to see 6 months in the bank. And I'm saying to myself, are you a hard money lender or no? Because a hard money lender says, let me see the property. Will it hit? And if it does, then let's rock with it. That's basically how it goes. So, as an example, this is what a hard money lender conversation should sound like. Or this is what mine has sounded like. Okay. Hello? Hey, what's up? It's Yo. What's going on, Yo? What you got for me? Well, I found this property and I was just wondering if you would come out and take a look at it because I'm interested in purchasing it and doing a reno. Okay. Well, do you have it under contract? Yeah, I got it under contract. I made an offer, submitted the offer was accepted. All right, when can you meet me out at the property? I can meet you out at the property today, tomorrow, the sooner the better, because there are time frames built into the contract and you have to adhere to them. So hard money lender says, okay, I'll be right out. I'm coming out to look at the property. They might come out same day, they might come out the next day. But what happens is they come out, and most times, if they're not a contractor themselves, because they have a lot of experience doing this, they know what they're looking for. But a lot of times they'll bring their contractor out to the job with them, or an inspector that they work with out to the job with them. And when I say the job, I mean the property that you have now put that contract on. So they come out, they take a look at it, and they make a determination. Okay, I'm gonna lend on this, or I'll let you know something by the end of the day. What you need to be prepared with is the comps, which are the comparable properties, which are the properties in the area that have sold that are similar and most like the house that you're going to sell. Where have those properties sold in the past 6 months? So because they want to know that if you fix this one up, is it going to sell for around that same price, or a little bit more, a little bit less? So you need to know what the comparables are in the area, and we'll get to how you can find out what those comparables are. Now, let me see. I said they lend based on the asset. This is a big thing. They do not advertise for the most part. Unless something has changed that I don't know about, hard money lenders do not advertise. So how do you find them? In my experience, I used to go to the real estate meetings. And when I say used to, the only reason why I haven't been in a while is just because of other circumstances. I've just been so busy, but I will never stop going to real estate meetings, because when you get involved in real estate investment groups, there's so much information. And people say, oh, well, go to real estate investment groups because you want to be around like-minded people. Well, yeah, you want to be around like-minded people, but it's where all of the information is exchanged. Here's my contractor, here's my lender, here's the lender that everybody uses. That's where you find the hard money lenders. And ever so often, the hard money lenders show up to the meetings because they're in business too. They want to make the loans. So every now and then they'll show up to the meetings, and you can speak with them at the meetings. So I would say, first thing you need to do is find out where your local investors meet, and do not make light of, or should I say, do not despise small beginnings. Because when I first started out as a real estate investor, my real estate investment club was meeting in a Denny's, and they were meeting in like the back room of a Denny's, in the little, the room that you reserve at Denny's that's a little bit bigger than the rest of the restaurant. That's where we were meeting. And I am going to tell you, that is where my real estate investing journey really blossomed. It's not where it began, but it is absolutely where it blossomed. And I'm forever grateful for it. So I don't care where they meet, it's rinky dink or whatever. As long as you know it's safe, you know where you're going, go to the meetings, because there's some information there that is priceless. So hard money lenders, that's where you find out information about who the hard money lenders are in your area. And one of the things that is important to know about hard money lenders, aside from the fact that they typically do not advertise, is they are usually not going to lend outside of their immediate proper area. So if they're in a particular county, they might skip over one county. They might go over one county, but for the most part, they stay in their county. And a lot of them stay even as local as maybe 3 or 4 cities. They don't typically go outside of their county. And my experience is that they don't go outside of their state. Now, I know that some do, but it's just in my experience, the hard money lenders that I work with do not go outside of the state. Now, again, that's not to say that they don't, because there are some that do. So that's very important to know about hard money lenders as well. So you want to stick around the area where you're going to these meetings, where you're going to hear about these hard money lenders. That's typically the area that lender lends in. That's why everybody knows them. Let's see. I also made a note that one of the reasons why people don't want to use hard money lenders is because the interest rates are so high. But here's what you pay for in interest rates. You pay for the ability to pick up that phone and say, I saw a property, I want to purchase it, and your hard money lender says, okay, I checked it out, I think it's something that I want to lend on, and they already have your letter that says proof of funds right here. Proof of funds, 24 hours, 48 hours. You already have proof of funds from your lender to say, yes, I can move forward with this contract. Yes, I can close this deal. That's powerful. And especially in a hot market, when you have to come back to a seller and say, okay, I'm putting an offer and I'm even going to offer you higher than what you're asking, but I have to go through my financing process first. One or two things is going to happen in a hot market. You either going to get bumped out by somebody that's rocking and rolling with the cash, or you're going to get bumped out by somebody, an investor that uses a hard money lender, because they do not have to wait for the same amount of time to prove their funds that you do. So in any case, what some people may say to combat that is, oh, well, that's why you get all of your financing done up front. Let me tell you something. I almost would challenge someone who uses a bank to get a proof of funds letter faster than me, or should I say one who uses a hard money lender. In any case, that's not a challenge. So that's important to know as well, that you pay a high interest rate, but you're paying for that efficiency. You're paying to be able to look at a property and make an offer and say, hey, you have 24 to 48 hours to accept this offer. You have that ability because you know that your hard money lender is going to provide you with proof of funds right away. Now, it's not to say that it wouldn't be contingent upon an inspection, because it behooves you to get an inspection on anything you buy. You can buy it without an inspection, but I don't recommend it. You should always get an inspection. So in any case, there are some people that are more seasoned that can come out and look at the property and say, I think I'll go ahead and move along with this. For example, I have experience as a general contractor, so I can make the decision to go with an inspection or not. And then in addition to that, even without that experience, there are things to the naked eye that I can't see that an inspector would come in and be able to see. But let me not get off on that tangent. I want to go back to making sure I'm addressing everything that is important for you to know about hard money lenders if you have any trepidation about using one. So with the hard money lender, it's important that you really know your exit strategy, because the interest rate is so high and that interest rate is kicking in right away. You really want to make sure you have your crew together. You know what you're going to do to that property, because you don't want to have to spend months upon months upon months getting that property together, because every month that mortgage is due, that interest is due. And the other thing about hard money loans is a lot of times they are interest only, which means you're not even knocking down the principal at all. When you're using a hard money loan, you're just paying interest on that money until you sell that property and pay that hard money lender back. So that's important to know as well. You're not knocking down principal at all. And hard money lenders in this respect are no different from traditional banks, wherein you must insure the property. You must keep the property taxes current. That's important. You're not going to forego that just because you're using a hard money lender. Now, with those things said, okay, so we know that a hard money lender is just looking at the asset. We also know that a hard money lender is going to come out, they're going to look at the property, they're going to make a determination, yes or no. We're not interested in your credit necessarily to determine whether we're going to lend. That just may inform whether we charge you a higher interest rate or a lower interest rate. And when I say higher and lower, I mean low based on it already being high. So just a little bit lower, not a low interest rate, just a little lower than usual, which maybe if they're charging 13% and you don't seem to be a credit risk, they may charge you, 11%. But if it's your first time, chances are you're going to pay the height of what they're asking in interest. I know that my experience with my hard money lenders, and I've used more than one, is when you do more than one transaction, they become familiar with you, so they may take a point or two off and they're not charging as much interest, but they don't typically deviate too far away from what their interest rate is, and it is high. But that's why you need to know how to get into those properties and turn and burn. You need to get in there once you close. I mean, on the day you close, I mean, that might be a stretch, but on the day you close, you should practically be in that property with your contractors ready to get it popping. Like, you should be ready to get in there and knock that project out. And you got to keep in mind that there are typically always delays in a project. You can't even anticipate what the delays are going to be. But you just know, okay, you're dealing with hard money, you're paying this interest rate, so you want to minimize those delays as much as possible. And that has to do with preparedness. That has to do with, some can't be avoided because they're out of your control. But when they do occur, you should know how to handle them. You should have backup to know what you're going to do to handle them, because that clock is ticking and that interest rate is running. So, but that being said, if you have your things in place, what beats hard money? I mean, it's a personal preference. I realize that, but hard money every day for me. I mean, it's just what my preference is. So also with hard money, you have to make sure that you do everything properly. And when I say properly, you want to make sure that all of your paperwork is executed properly. More than likely, your hard money lender has a title company that they work with, and that title company typically has an attorney that works with the title company or either owns the title company. And you have to make a determination on whether you're going to have your own attorney throughout transactions, because flying solo is kind of hard because there's a lot of terms in that note that you're about to sign, and you should be familiar. And familiar is an understatement. You should know what those terms of that mortgage, what they mean and what the implications are for you. So in talking about hard money, because that's what I really wanted to focus on today, because I hear hard money getting such a bad rep. Let me tell you something. Like I said, hard money hits hard. If I see a property today, I'm going to know more than likely, no later than a day or two later, whether my hard money lender is going to give me the money to buy that property. Now, when I say give me the money, of course, I mean lend me the money. And I started out, I don't know if I started out by telling you, you do need money to purchase a property. And then there's creative ways of purchasing things, and that's a fact. But in this scenario, hard money lenders are typically, if you're brand new, they're only going to lend you about 60% of the property value or the after repair value. So there's a value when you first go and look at this property. What is it worth? What would it be appraised at? What's the value of that property? So let's say the value of that property is $100,000. Well, the hard money lender is going to say, okay, well, I'm going to lend you $60,000. You got to figure out where to come up with the other $40,000. Or I'm lending you $80,000. You got to figure out where to come up with the other $20,000. So you have to have some money from somewhere. Now, that's where you can get, you can make a decision where you can get private money. So your friend, your mother, your cousin, your uncle, whomever can lend you that $20,000. Just know that that hard money lender is going to be in first position, which means if I have to move forward and foreclose on this property, I get my money first before your cousin who made you that loan gets their money. Another story for another time, but just know that you can combine those two lenders. You can have a hard money lender, and then for that difference that you need, that the hard money lender is saying, hey, I'm only gonna loan you 80% of this. Then you have to get your other 20%. You bring those two together at closing, and you close the deal. Just know that again, hard money is gonna get paid first. They're gonna make sure their note is structured that way so that they get paid first, just in case anything happens that was beyond either beyond your control. Pardon me. So those are important things to know about hard money lenders. If I were you and you're looking for the money right now in a market like the one we're currently in, I would say seek out hard money lenders because they move fast. They're efficient. They've done it time and time again. So their note is already drawn up. They just have to maybe switch a few terms, put your name in. They know this like the back of their hands for the most part. But that being said, it would behoove you to have your own attorney or a real estate professional reviewing any contracts that you go into. If you don't have the savvy yourself, if you don't have the knowledge about how contracts work, I'm all for real estate professionals. I have been a realtor for a very long time, and I just want to make a point here. Because I say I've been a realtor for a long time, I want you to understand I was not a realtor first. I was an investor first. You do not need to be a realtor to be a real estate investor. I became a realtor after I became an investor. So don't let that hang you up thinking, oh, well, she's a realtor, so that's how she knows everything that she knows. That is not the case. My path into real estate investing was baptism by fire. I just learned it as I went along. So I think that is the gist of everything that I wanted to touch on as far as hard money lender goes. I'm gonna take a glance at my whiteboard because I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything that I wanted to talk to you about as far as hard money lenders go. I don't think I missed anything, and if I did miss anything, then I'm just gonna have to circle back and either add to this video, or I might have to make a second video to support this one if I've left anything out. But the premise for today is seek out the hard money lenders. They make it shake. They make it happen. And you in turn need to be prepared to get into that property, renovate it, get it on the market, and get it sold. And it may seem like it's pressure to do it fast. Well, it's pressure to do it efficiently. It's pressure to do it fast. You want to do it fast. You don't want to hold on to hard money a long time. And I'm telling you that from experience because I have held on to it for a long time at high interest rates, but I also bought very well. So that means I bought on I squeezed everything out of that deal I possibly could. So I bought very well. I mean, even though I bought well, you certainly don't want to give your money away in interest. But because I bought well, I had a little room to be able to do it. You don't want to hold on to a hard money loan for long, which is why you need to have an exit strategy in place. So I hope that covered everything as far as hard money lenders go, and whether you have any trepidation about working with one. I'm all for hard money lenders. And like I said, I wouldn't trade them in for a traditional, conventional loan any day of the week. I just really wouldn't. Now, let me be clear before someone blows a gasket. There are traditional loans that are amazing. Interest rates, amazing. There's way to structure loans from traditional means that really do benefit you. Low down payments, etc. They're great. But I'm just telling you, in my experience, hard money is great too. Hope you were able to take something away from this. This is Yo-Yo the House Lady checking out. Thank you again for stopping by. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.